That's interesting. I really knew. Here's what I thought I knew, and then I think you or Allie cleared this up for me. I thought Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin were married or something.
Oh, right. Yes, you and I talked about this.
Maybe they or she killed her former husband or something like that. I don't know. I knew that I think it was maybe in our Scream 3 commentary track. In the video version, right when the movie ended on Netflix, it brought up a promo for Tiger King, which was Joe Exotic posing, like laying on his side beside a tiger, and I was like, "What the heck?" I'd been avoiding it. I'd just been avoiding watching it.
The music video for "I Saw a Tiger."
Oh, okay, sure,
I
whatever.
Saw a tiger, now I understand.
What does he understand?
Tiger. I don't know. Their Majesty.
Oh, okay, sure. No, I guess I knew that there was a tiger place and a crime had occurred there. It just didn't appeal to me, but I knew the entire world was going wild
on
with
fire.
Joe Exotic madness. You watched it, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. It was so captivating. It was so hard to turn off or look away from once you started.
Right.
Yeah, so you are, you've got some of the players right. It's just that he and Carol Baskin were not married or anything. They were mortal enemies because she runs kind of like a rival. This doesn't really matter for Ghost Adventures that much, but she basically...
I think it's good to know the background. So can I also say before you really explain the event, sure. Tiger King, I was shocked. They reference it in this Ghost Adventures special. It only came out in March.
Yes.
2020 has been a whirlwind. I would have told you that was last year.
Right.
And so
I think it was partially such a big hit. I think it was interesting anyway, and it would have been a hit, but it came out right around when we started quarantining.
Yeah.
So everybody was at home watching.
But so it captivated the world earlier this year, which makes it, we should have known that it would have a target on its back for Bagans to come in. It was a murder story at a ridiculous location. Bagans is going by. He's stopping by.
Oh, absolutely. He said, and I loved, it's just such a tiny detail, but I loved this little look into how he works and stuff like that. He said that he saw an article that was an interview with Jeff Lowe, who's this guy who now owns Joe Exotic's zoo or whatever, and is going to have to surrender that land to Carol Baskin. And he said, fine, good riddance, let her inherit it and all the ghosts that are here.
Right.
That was probably just a figure of speech.
Yes.
He was like, ghosts, you say? I wonder if he means any literal ghosts.
I know.
And so he just doesn't miss a trick.
No, he might have just a Google search.
For the word ghost?
Yeah, for the word ghost. Anytime it appears up.
That is
spends his day combing through. So,
He's
all right, get back to what Tiger King is actually about. What are the circumstances?
So the most broad strokes of it are that this guy owned a zoo, and there's a woman named Carol Baskin who owns what she calls a tiger sanctuary, but it seems kind of similar to what Joe Exotic does, but she says that she's saving the tigers. I don't have a huge opinion on this, but I know that some people are and a lot of people, it's not a niche thing, are she's basically doing the same thing, give me a break. So they were enemies, and Joe Exotic is in jail now because he hired somebody who's in the Zach Bagans thing to kill Carol Baskin.
What? Somebody who... Wait.
Yes.
He hired gun?
Yes. The guy named...
A hired assassin is in this episode?
Yes, the guy whose name is Alan. They even say it in this.
Alan's the guy that they sneak into his trailer while he's sleeping.
Yes, that was unwise. He was able to get off because he did it a plea bargain and sang like a canary.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And
Zach Bagans sends Aaron into Alan's trailer. Right. Into the trailer of Joe Exotic's hired assassin. Joe Exotic's best assassin.
His best one.
Is Bagans sends Aaron in with a camera.
Right.
And they don't realize that Alan's in there sleeping. But they keep filming him in bed. I've never seen anything like it. Kristen, this was the...
I'm silently laughing.
I watched this last night with Allie, and I kept saying to her, she had she watched Tiger King as well, but she had far less patience for this.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept saying to her, I think we're leaving on a high note.
Yeah.
This might be, I don't know how you feel about the episode yet, we haven't talked about it at all.
Yep.
This might be the best Ghost Adventures thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is pretty high up there. Even me having seen like more than you having seen modern stuff, this was a goodie.
I'm so glad
This was a trick and a treat.
I'm glad we're ending on a special. This is a high note that I don't think anything else could rival. So we're going to go out on top.
Absolutely. The timing was completely perfect that this was coming out when we decided to end the show.
Yeah.
So the other things that are good to know about him for purposes of what happens in the show is that he he's not a good dude. He's definitely not a good dude. You could gather that from him trying to kill somebody, but like there's all kinds of questions about how he treated the animals and him ethically or not killing them, putting them down. He was like a heavy drug user. He may have been abusive in his relationships. He had 2 husbands, I think at the same time at one point, if I remember correctly, even though bigamy isn't legal. And that's not what I'm judging, but he was like abusive to them and gave them drugs and stuff like that. Basically, like there were some things in this episode, I'm mentioning that because they made me uncomfy. I was like, this is very weird that they're doing this, like going through his house and like looking through his stuff. But at the same time, I was like, this guy is a terrible guy.
Yeah.
So I don't feel, as bad as I might for somebody else. He's a really bad guy.
He truly was like a little tyrant. He was a king.
Yes.
And he lorded over this property, and he manipulated people, and he did whatever he damn well pleased.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, he's not a good person at all. He's a bad guy.
That's good to know, because I was even thinking last night, but they have TV in jail. Imagine.
He's aware of Tiger King and like loves it, that he's getting all this notoriety and everything. So yeah, I wonder, I have to imagine that if he has access to Netflix, maybe he can somehow get access to this, or maybe somebody who writes to him from the outside can send it to him or whatever. And it's got to feel so weird to see somebody going through your abandoned house and like shaking your bottle of pills and finding your penis pump.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
As they're exploring the dilapidated ruins of Joe Exotic's house, Zach Bagans is wearing a gigantic gas mask, which is appropriate. This is clearly an abandoned place. You would want to wear a gas mask. Who knows what mold could be in the air? Anything. You should probably be wearing masks right now anyway. Yeah. But going into like an abandoned building, he's walking around without gloves. And he is touching. He's
touching.
Oh, he's touching. And I could not believe it. He opened that drawer, and I had a flashback to Austin Powers. I remembered my Austin Powers, and I clocked that penis pump.
I did too. It looks like there were a couple of them in there too.
Yes,
it didn't seem like it was the only one.
And Bagans picked it up.
I know. I thought that was so weird because I thought, maybe I'm incorrect, but I thought he has like a touch of germophobia.
Yeah.
Maybe he wouldn't call it that, but just like, doesn't like not clean stuff. And I was like, he's picking up this penis pump?
Maybe he's got germophilia.
Yeah, maybe. Nothing could be germier.
Yeah, I was tracking what people were saying on the Ghost Adventures subreddit and on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah, I was on Twitter. Aaron was live tweeting it. He live tweets every episode, which I find very nice.
Oh, that's nice. I don't know if this is true or not, but people were saying that Zach Bagans took that penis pump with him back to the Haunted Museum. I'm sure that's a joke.
Yeah, I think it's a joke because it hasn't been like reviewed. That hasn't been in the news, and I'm kind of on Bacon's news, but like it doesn't feel totally impossible.
Right, and also a lot of people in the subreddit in particular were very down on this episode. They were saying it was boring, that it was weak, that the Halloween specials always suck. I really enjoyed myself. I don't know if it needed to be 2 hours for me. Yeah, but I really enjoyed it.
I did too. I didn't think it was weak. I mean, I guess it depends on your perspective. Maybe if it's somebody who's looking for evidence and kind of like real, hardcore ghost investigation stuff, then in that sense, I guess you could say it was. But for entertainment value, which is what you and I are mainly in there for, I thought it was extremely entertaining.
I agree with that, but I'll also say that like one of the things that I've been sorely missing is a sense of real ghost investigation in this show. I think maybe now that we're at the end here, we can reveal it. You actually cut a bit out of an early episode of Ghost Adventures where I felt I caught them faking something, and it really sort of ruined.
Well, that part's in there. It's just like 10 10 minutes of you going on about it is not.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
but
so
like
people
it's sort of like destroyed the integrity of the show to me, because I thought at least they were trying to get real evidence, and I caught them, I thought, in beginning of season 2 faking it, or end of season 1. But here I really feel like, it's been now a decade later, and I think that they got the best evidence I've ever seen them get in this episode.
Which thing?
It's on the second night, or no, maybe it's on the first night of their lockdown. They do 2 lockdowns in this special.
Yeah.
They bring out that silly camera.
Yeah.
And I loved this, Kristen.
Yes.
I loved it.
Yes.
They bring out that silly little camera.
I loved this.
When you look through the viewfinder, it detects patterns. So the camera it'll draw lines on the screen of where doorways are. Like, it's trying to make sense of the depth of the image that it's capturing. And because it's detecting patterns, it looks for the shape of people. And so if it sees a person, it will put a little stick figure man on the screen where the person is, to sort of be like, there's a person standing there. For the purposes of a ghost investigation, when you're just looking at an empty hallway and a stick figure on the camera appears, that tells you, oh my God, is that a spirit? Maybe that's a ghost right there. The cynical mind, maybe the camera is, because it's always looking for patterns, it can accidentally detect what it thinks is a person and put that stick figure there. Regardless, they're exploring because I guess this is a big part of Tiger King. Joe Exotic had a husband named Travis.
Yes.
Travis accidentally killed himself.
Yeah, so that would have been good for me to explain too. They basically talk about it, but yeah, like, it's very strange. It also seemed like he was a heavy drug user, so I don't remember or know if they knew that he was doing stuff at the time that this happened.
Yeah.
But he, like, kind of casually walked into the office, which is like hanging out talking to somebody, and jokingly pointed a gun at his head that he had removed the clip from, so he thought there was nothing in it, and was like joking and pulled the trigger and shot and killed himself. Which is horrible. I felt so terrible for that woman. I have her name here. I can't remember what it is. But the woman who they were speaking with, who worked with him, who had blue hair, who was really, really close to him, she was so devastated about it, understandably. And then I was surprised, and people deal with things in different ways, so who knows? It could be neither here nor there, and they just didn't repair this, or it could be in memory or whatever. But she takes Zach back into the office where Travis shot himself, and the piece of carpet that had all of his blood on it is just cut out, just to cut out where the blood was. But that also then, like, delineates where he sat and shot himself, and then there's still the bullet hole in the wall as well. So there's just, like, constant, very obvious visual reminder there.
It's horrible. It's a horrible story, and without having seen Tiger King and not knowing anything about it, I feel like it dictates a lot of the energy of this episode of Ghost Adventures, where, early Ghost Adventures, season 1 and season 2 that I've seen, it's a good old time.
Yeah.
And they're like giggling, a lot of the time, and here in this episode, it's got so much more of a documentary feel.
Yeah, it does.
It is, they've got, a decade later, they've now got an obviously increased budget. They've got more of a visual flair. There are a lot of drone shots. They will now put the locations of places into the footage itself, like layering like 3-dimensional text on top of a house, on top of a fence. It's like very cinematic and really interesting looking. But this whole story of the accidental suicide of Travis, I feel like this episode also feels very heavy. It's not fun. It's not funny.
No. Well,
so,
actually, there are some funny moments, but it's not overall. Like Aaron realizing that he's in the trailer with Alan.
Right.
At the
yes,
end.
that is
That was
funny.
very funny. Also, in the same trailer, I guess earlier or another time or something, Aaron is again investigating there by himself, and there's a dog underneath a tiger printed blanket when Aaron thinks he's by himself, or with like one other camera person, and the dog gets out from under the covers and moves the blanket, and Aaron, I think, genuinely is like, oh my God, go, because he just sees like tiger print moving, and he was afraid there was a tiger in there.
Maybe I'm an idiot. I was very puzzled. They go into this trailer twice, and
I had to rewind. I was confused.
Or like they just keep showing the footage of going into the trailer and something moving in the bed. I just thought it was Alan each time they showed it to us.
I think
it was a dog that time.
Well, maybe I'm wrong because I seriously rewound it like 3 times. A dog runs out with them when Aaron says that. So I assumed, you know what? Maybe it makes more sense that it was Alan, and then they go back in.
I have no idea. I
Sure,
just know that they kept showing that shot of Aaron walking through the trailer and then something moving in the bed.
Yeah.
Whatever. So anyway, what I was saying was about this camera that detects patterns of people. They're going through Joe Exotic's house, and the camera detects a human. So it puts that little stick figure man in the viewfinder, and it's always like dancing around and jiggling and every time I've seen them use this camera before, and it always makes a little stick figure man who looks so happy. He's got like happy dancing feet.
I think it's akin to like stop motion animation in a way where like somebody's probably moved. Well, that's not true, but like it's somebody who's moving normally, but it's just capturing it like.
Yeah, the camera can't keep up with the person's actual motion, so it just looks like a silly little dancing figure.
Yes,
and
they're always dancing.
It appears, at least Zach says, that the figure is pointing to the closet.
Yes.
The arm is raised toward a closet.
Yeah.
So they have this grabber claw thing, so they're able to reach up and they find a teddy bear up there. They cast that aside. They dig further in and they pull out a hat. Mm-hmm. It's like a trucker cap that's covered in buttons, and the name Travis Maldonado is written on the bill of it. Mm-hmm. And so was this the ghost of Travis on their camera as a dancing stick figure man pointing to where you can find my hat?
Right.
And they end up, later they will ask people about this hat and say, you know, what was the deal here? Do you know anything about this hat? And it becomes this story that Joe Exotic had taken it from Travis and hidden it. He was just to be petty and cruel, just take things that Travis liked and hide them away. Mm-hmm. But now Zach has found it, and they put the hat and a cigarette on the couch, and they just say, Travis, we have your things here. Do you want them? Come on, appear. You know, give us a sign. Appear in front of us if you want these things. And through that same pattern detecting camera, I forget what it's called, like an SMS camera or something like that.
SLS, I think.
SLS, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
The stick figure man appears again.
Yup. I loved.
Behind the couch, in like a blink of a moment, it appears where the hat and the cigarette were as an offering.
Yeah, they say appear, and it appears.
It appears right then. And Zach and Aaron and, I don't know, other crew, whatever, start like jumping up and down and hugging each other.
Yes.
Because they got evidence.
It was so sweet. I loved it. It was so awesome.
Yes, I loved it. I don't think anything could ever top this moment.
Yes, completely.
This is the closest I've ever felt to. This is probably what it would really be like if you felt you got evidence.
Yeah.
I believe in that moment that they believe.
Yeah.
I found it really interesting. What a perfect juxtaposition of things. Stick figure man pointed to closet. Hat was in closet. Put hat on couch. Ask stick figure man if this is what he wanted, and he reappears. Mm-hmm. Wonderful little ghost story. If it's fake, it's terrific. If it's the closest thing I've ever seen to like evidence on a show. Yeah. I loved it. I loved it.
I did too. I felt the same way. They were so excited and so happy.
And it's what you would do.
I really felt, oh my God, you would lose it.
Mm-hmm. I also felt like this is what, if you believe that you're trying to find ghosts, this is what you hang your hat on forever, right?
Yeah.
Of like, look at this moment, and like you release that footage uncut or whatever to let people see it as it really happened or something. Like just to be like, we did it, that we found. I know we're doing a silly ghost hunting show, but we found evidence of spirits.
Yeah.
I don't know if I bought it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like
I understand.
I'm hedging my bets, or I sound like I'm hedging my bets. I don't know if I'm willing to go so far as to say it's definite evidence of the paranormal. That would be a big leap for me.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful.
Yes.
And it was interesting, and it was like eerie.
Yeah.
But it was a moment to celebrate. I loved it.
Yeah, I did too. That was the best moment of the show, hands down.
1,000,000%.
It was totally awesome.
What other things sort of jump out to you in their investigation here?
Let me see. Well, definitely them walking around talking to the people. So, like, everybody they're talking to was in Tiger King, like the people who own it now and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it definitely was kind of cool. Again, there weren't really any heroes in Tiger King. Like even
Okay.
this dude, I can't even remember the deal, but even the dude who owns it now didn't seem like a good guy. Like there's really nobody who was like, "Oh, my friend is here." But
Yeah.
it was interesting to catch up with these people. So him walking around talking to them was definitely enjoyable and like a novelty and stuff like that. I'm looking at my notes. Something. Oh, you know what he said that I thought was really interesting? So it's easy and I think not unreasonable to think that they kind of shoehorned an investigation here in because of the notoriety of Tiger King. Because as they said, it was like insanely popular on Netflix. And it's like, well, why don't we get us some of that? It's like good publicity. And even the like inheriting ghosts thing, it's like, well, that's just because it's kind of a phrase. Like there's no real evidence of ghosts. I mean, there could be maybe animal ghosts, but I don't think that there was anything from what I remember kind of concrete about people dying on the property. There's just no real reason to think that this place would be severely haunted as far as the spirits of people who had died there. But in voiceover, I think Zach said that there is a dark vortex of energy there. And so it kind of got me thinking, and I was like, you know what? That is true. I mean, that there a lot of darkness happened there between just like the way that Joe Exotic is, what they did to animals, all of that. And so if ghosts are attracted to certain strong vibrations or whatever, that is a place that could attract, if we're, going with that kind of logic, that is a place that could attract ghosts, even if maybe necessarily they weren't killed there or whatever.
Yeah.
And it also made me think that if there were hauntings, like events and things, could they be almost like poltergeist activity where there's such strong negative energy that it's manifesting in these kind of supernatural ways. So just from kind of like a couple of offhand sentences, I went from being like, this is like a gimmick, it's just like making a Joe Exotic thing, to, you know what, if this place would have a very strong, very negative energy, and so, you know what, this would be a place maybe that could attract some supernatural stuff.
That's interesting. They certainly do a lot. Without my background of Tiger King, of having seen it or anything, I did feel like they did a good job, to me at least, as a cold viewer, of establishing why this place is worth exploring. You're right, though. It does feel like a gimmick of like, well, this thing was big. If we go there, imagine the ratings.
Yeah, because it's not like it was famous for like, oh, Joe Exotic killed so many people on this land. Let's see what happened. It's really, obviously, they definitely killed animals there, and that's not nothing. But it just doesn't jump out as like a haunted house location that you would go see. So that was kind of my first thought. Don't mind it, but my first thought was like, okay, let's capitalize on Tiger King. Why not?
Totally. But they tell this story that is an unverified legend.
Yes.
Bagans says, we've got the names, we're just not going to say them because of lawyers and stuff like that. But they tell a story. It took place on the back 40 acres, they call it, where it's evidently just wilderness in a way, or they dump the dead body animals there. It's like a body farm is the vibe that I got from it. It's just littered with corpses of animals. So there were two people in there moment as well, in a very theatrical, cinematic, documentarian way. Two people sitting around a fire when they spot two more people hopping the fence. And it instantly erupts in a confrontation where they start shooting at these people who are jumping over the fence and kill them, set their bodies on fire. Bagan says they've got the names of this real event, but he also says that it's a rumor. So I don't know what to make of it.
I don't know.
But that is one of the things that suggests death has occurred here. He also asked the people who own the property, do you believe people have died here? Do you believe there are bodies here? And they say yes. That's what they've always been told. It's always just been the air of this place where it's understood people have died here.
It's truly not impossible, honestly. The guy was doing all kinds of nutty stuff. So it's definitely not outside the that there are dead bodies there. And that story that they told about people jumping the fence, they were telling that in connection with the current owner, Jeff Lowe, saying that people have seen like two bluish green lights in that area. So thinking that maybe those lights are the spirits of those people who were killed. And
Yeah.
also, even the way that he was talking about the way they were killed, like, it was so weird and matter of fact. Like, somebody's hopping over, so you're allowed to just shoot and kill them?
I couldn't
Like,
understand
he,
how
like,
it erupted that fast into violence.